honey. Couple of groupies to fit with. I know turbulence violent. And you niggas getting flying while you niggas smiling. Your kindness, scooter dependence. I come something new when I'm driving. Driving off the roof, no ceilings. Got a skyline view when I'm riding.
Gang. Welcome back, man. Welcome back to Let's Talk Everything 414 podcast. Hopefully everybody out there tonight is doing well and swell. I have to go back when we start this live. You understand what I'm saying? Still having a couple technical difficulties, but it's okay. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's totally all right. So what I'm gonna do is, like I told you, I have to get back into it. I would like for the sound to be playing elsewhere, but it's a little funny acting right now. Maybe I can fix it. I'm not sure. I don't want to take that much time doing that. I really don't. At the end of the day, man, I do want to get into this vid, right? I want to get into this vid because this is a touching topic. It's an interesting topic. A lot of people don't speak about this stuff. Like I said, man, definitely when it comes to knowledge of the mind. Let me see. Yes, sir. When it comes to the mind, the powers of the mind, gang, and what the mind can do, you got to understand your mind is your nine. For those of y'all that don't know, your mind is your goddamn nine. And if you don't use it like you supposed to, gang, somebody will blow that motherfucker out. You understand? So I want to dive into this. And I want to make sure I got my sounds correct and playing in the right area. Like I said before, because it's totally weird. And I'm not understanding it. But let me know if y'all can, hear it once I do play this video game. Because that's been a lot of trouble too. I don't know if it's StreamYard or wherever it is, but let me see. We'll learn soon. We'll find out.
3 facts about your brain that are absolutely not up for debate at all. Fact number 1 is your brain is a prediction machine. Just about everything that you experience, your emotions, your reactions, all of your decisions, what you
Okay, so now we cooking with fire, gang. I got sound on everything. Fact number 1, like he said, the prediction part, which it is, man. We know that, But another question is, though, how many of y'all really trust in your prediction powers or abilities that your brain holds? A lot of y'all don't trust in your own intuition. You don't trust in your own abilities sometimes. And I think, these neuro abilities, they can help you lean towards trusting your intuition and lean towards trusting in yourself and believing in yourself a little more.
They're all filtered through whatever your brain expects to happen next. So factor 2, your sense of identity is not a truth. It's a forecast. Fact number 3, that's undeniable. The brain does not experience time the way that clocks measure it. If you take those 3 facts, prediction, identity forecasting, and time distortion, explain why most people's lives stop changing after about the age of 25. So it's not because we run out of potential. Our brain has decided we've seen enough. This is who you are now.
Hey, changing at 25 is different, right? Because you know what I'm saying? We hear a lot of stories about maturing in the age of maturity, but our brains tend to change at that age. It's different. You understand what I'm saying? How many of y'all knew that? Or how many of y'all haven't heard of that? You know what I'm saying? I think your brain tend to change as you go through things. I ain't gonna lie. The more you experience, the more you bear, the more you go through, the more you express, the more you intake, your brain change all that. You understand what I'm saying? But the way he's talking about it gotta be on a different scale. It gotta be at a whole different, Richter. Let's
From that moment forward, the nervous system acts like a bouncer. It only lets in the thoughts, the behaviors, opportunities that match the established me. Everything else gets kind of filtered out. When researchers study imagination, they see something pretty weird. The brain uses identical neural networks to imagine the future that it uses to remember the past.
So it go back to what I said before the live got interrupted. Before I cut the last live and the monitor was fucking up. You feel me? Now I understand why some of the things in the past that you once remembered get replaced with the things that you think about your future. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was questioning it. I'm like, damn, okay. Then he said the brain uses the identical neural networks to imagine the future that it uses to remember the past. So, and a lot of y'all probably didn't know your brain was a time machine also. I stated that also before the last live ended, but you'll catch up.
It's the exact same neurons that when you remember your 5th grade classroom as when you are going to remember the retirement home that you might be in a couple of decades.
Wow.
Neurologically speaking, your future is treated like a memory that you haven't lived yet. This is why...
Now that's deep. Hey, that's deep. Let me take that back. He said,
future is treated like a memory that you haven't lived yet. This is why expectation changes behavior. This is why super optimism improves everyone's outcomes.
Right.
This is why trauma, when people go into a psychiatrist with trauma, that stuff can reshape our decision landscape.
Yeah, trauma it always reshape everything. Y'all ever heard when people like, man, trauma bonding? Well, everywhere you go nowadays, a lot of people, they trauma bond. A lot of people, they can relate to you off of traumas, whatnot. Now, when you go into a therapy with these traumas, you feel me? The therapist will try to break it down and break you up out of that traumatic turmoil that you have witnessed, and try to help you reshape your life, reshape your beliefs, and reshape what you think, right? But the thing is, we be so barricaded in that trauma. We be so barricaded in that turmoil that it's hard to dig ourselves out of that gravel turmoil hole that we dove into. So back in the days in school, they used to tell your mind is a terrible thing to waste, which it is, though. Because if you live in stress, if you live in high stress moments and high stress conditions and situations, that shit will get embedded in you like your DNA. You feel me? And you will start to bleed, sleep, shit, and breathe that exact same thing. The same thing you don't want to, have coming out, or you don't want publicized, or you don't want people seeing of you. You understand what I'm saying?
Brain's not seeing the future, it's predicting it. And then it shapes your behavior to match that prediction. So every version of you, the super confident one, the one that's burned out, the one that's courageous or brave, the isolated version of you is already a potential neural pattern. So if we look at identity as a forecast and the brain is choosing behaviors based on that forecast, then changing our future isn't about motivation. It's not about willpower or mantras or post-it notes with smiley faces on them. It's about updating the brain's prediction. You do not have one future. You have thousands, maybe millions of plausible and maybe billions of
anytime y'all see me walking off, I'm paying attention. You gotta believe that. Well, it's knowledgeable and listening. Well, I have to run it back because that was the most important part to me.
If we look at identity as a forecast and the brain is choosing behaviors based on that forecast, then changing our future isn't about motivation. It's not about willpower or mantras or post-it notes with smiley faces on them. It's about updating the brain's prediction. You do not have one future. You have thousands, maybe millions of plausible and maybe billions of possible futures.
Thousands is crazy. Thousands, but then he said billions. Like when you get to going there, gang, you really speaking knowledge to me now. But that's the shit, everybody niggas in the hood ain't know. Don't nobody know you got 1,000 futures, man. Don't nobody even think like that. Like, what 1,000 futures? Yeah, you got 1,000 futures. Your future self is always reaching down back to you, trying to pull you up out of whatever condition you in. It's trying to remind you to wake up. We got this. We've been here before. That's what your future self be doing all the time, man. Those of y'all that don't know.
Each of one of those is attached to a different version of you that your brain could inhabit right now. But this is not happening because
and that's what they call a multiverse. For those of y'all that don't know, they call that the multiverse right now. They got scientists all over the world studying that. They're trying to see, is that real? Is the multiverse, is it interactable? Well, the yogis say when you meditate, and if you meditate without, trying to force your meditation, you can inherit a different state or altered state of consciousness where you can't witness this multiverse type of self being. You understand what I'm saying? Where you can be yourself in the future you, where you know you living good, you got a great job, you got great cars and all this and that. Or you can be in that multiverse mind state where you know you in the worstest turmoil situation, what they call hell on earth. You can have that mind state. It almost, you know, the same is almost the same as saying like we can be in the same room, right? But this room do not look the same to both of us. What you seeing is not what I'm seeing. What you perceiving is not what I'm perceiving in this room. You catch me?
Anything in the universe changes. Nothing in the universe changes. It's just that your one little brain starting to select different behaviors. It's noticing different opportunities. And most of all, the most important thing ever, it is interpreting events differently.
That's the truth. I ain't mean to cut him off, but you feel me? It's starting to notice other opportunities. And let me give y'all an example. Like if y'all ever felt like, man, ain't nothing going right for me, man. Everything always go bad for me. Everything is always going wrong. At the end of the day, what your brain is going to do is pick up on some of those predictive anomalies, and it's going to create those anomalies for you in your reality in 3D time form. And you will start experiencing more of that. You're going to start experiencing more people not liking you. You're going to start experiencing more people being bogus and shady towards you. You're going to start experiencing that because that's what you already believe. You feel me? Mentally, you already tell yourself, look, nothing never work out for me. But if you reverse that and you start thinking more positive, gang, I guarantee you more positive situations will start becoming, you know, more resultable for you to grab, like tangibly grab them right out of the thought process and interact with them and be able to, you know, walk in that flow of life every day. I ain't lying to you. You got to try it, literally.
If you look at quantum mechanics, the future in any quantum mechanics field, the future is never fixed. The future exists as a spread of all these possibilities. A particle doesn't have a predetermined path. It has a distribution of potential paths, potential trajectories.
See, hey, look, that right there make me think, you know how some people be like, do you believe in fate and destiny? Or do you believe in your life path was already chosen for you? You understand what I'm saying? That makes you wonder, like, damn, well, if the future is already embedded with a mesh of distributed paths that's, you know, potentially possible for us to reach, then is life already pre-designed for us to end up where we think we'll end up at? Like it makes you wonder, it makes you ask that question, like, damn, is life already predestined, as they said it was? Like everybody always say, man, your life is already predestined. What's meant for you is meant for you. What ain't. You feel me? Well, if he just said we got a mesh of distributed potential paths that, you know, we could possibly take, depends on which one we consciously focus on, then that tells me we can choose to be in any position at any time and at any mood, happiness, you know, whether it's upset or excited about that life experience at that moment. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, we can change, like we can change like the hot and cold. We can change like night and day. You understand what I'm saying?
Trajectories that it could travel. And that trajectory becomes real, depends on two things. Number one, its starting conditions, and two, the forces that are acting on it. So the particle doesn't choose a best path, it expresses the path that matches the conditions it's in. If you adopt a new identity, you're collapsing a spread of futures into a new trajectory. And that's not a metaphor, that is behaviorally a different.
So that means if you adopt a new identity, so say, you know, when you was coming up as a child, you was always one of those shy, timid kids. You understand what I'm saying? Never really was outspoken, always stayed to yourself. And as you got older, you grew a different identity. And this identity you grew happened to be a more tougher, a more resilient, a more loudly spoken, but you feel me, direct to the point people, then that means you changing the trajectory in your life paths, and you're possibly collapsing that trajectory on that life path that you just created. You understand?
Identity selects different actions. And if you take different actions, you have different opportunities, different outcomes. In
Right.
behavior science, we call it repatterning.
Right. That's right. Different behavior equal different opportunities. That's just like if somebody told you right now, look, I love you, and then they came back and told you, I hate you, gang. You're going to feel two different ways. You guys get two different outputs, two different outcomes. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you talking about.
And tonight you're going to experience one live. Visualization is a neurological event with measurable consequences. So when you imagine something really vividly, connection circuits in your brain do not distinguish between what's real and what's vividly simulated. They just respond to the patterns. So a vivid imagined future can influence your identity more strongly than a vague memory. If your nervous system...
That's different now. Come on now. I know a lot of y'all ain't know that, gang. That's totally different. You feel me? Let's go back. Let's take that back. Some of y'all ain't catch that. Let's take that back, because that was a gem.
So a vivid imagined future can influence your identity more strongly than a vague memory. If your nervous identity...
And the reason I have that back, because look, I know some people right now today, they only picture negative events. They only picture negative outcomes. They only picture situations that is not of their interest. And to me, that's the most craziest things, because like he just said, if you can vision something that's more realistic to what you want to be conditioned in or around, then you will, possibly 9 times out of 10 obtain that. It will restructure and repattern the way you breathe, sleep, think, behave, which ultimately will reshape and repattern the reality you walk in every day, guaranteed. The yogis, they talk about it. Buddhists practice this. They talk about it. They're talking about it in neuroscience. I mean, it's all over right now, gang. Everybody is speaking about it. And if you ask me, that's what they mean by waking up. You understand what I'm saying? Wake up out there, America. Wake the fuck up.
With measurable consequences.
Measurable.
Imagine something really vividly. Connection circuits in your brain do not distinguish between what's real and what's vividly simulated.
Like the subconscious mind. They told y'all that the subconscious mind, when you dream it, don't know the difference between a dream and the real world. You feel me? Ain't that strange? Ain't that strange, though?
They just respond to the patterns. So a vivid imagined future can influence your identity more strongly than a vague memory. If your nervous system encounters some kind of coherent internal image, it updates rapidly, fast. It's not like you need to do this for 5 months. This is like 5 freaking minutes. When you've had moments in your life of intense clarity, they feel life-altering because they are. And it's never the moment. Not once has it been the moment. The identity collapses future probabilities into a different line. So once we encode some image in our brain, the system starts acting like it's already lived.
Which make me think when they say, in order to manifest something, because people think when you manifest, they think you just think of it, you think of what you want and you positively think on it, you don't act, and it just comes to you. You understand what I'm saying? But that's not it. That's not the case at all. When you manifest, you got to feel as if you already got it. When you manifest, you got to actually create that feeling like this. Look, an example. Some of y'all automatically know how it feels to lose something. Automatically, y'all know how it feels to get told no. You automatically know how it feels to be turned down. But how easy is it for y'all to vividly feel having $1 million, vividly feel like you just bought a mansion, or even vividly feel like you just, you know, bought or purchased or won a new vehicle. That's hard. That's hard. It takes some time. I ain't gonna lie, because we all been structured to not believing in anything outside of what we see. We only been structured and repatterned to believe in the things we see, and that's fucked up, because if you don't see good things, if you don't see positive things, if you don't see things turning your way, or things you know, giving you an output of the best results you wanted, then obviously in your mind everything don't work in your favor. So to be able to reshape the way you think, your mindset is one you know, critical thing. That's a huge, large critical, you feel me, that we all need to learn. Now let him finish. Let's get back into what he's saying, because what he's saying, he got a lot of knowledge. A lot.
And in a minute, you're going to experience this.
Y'all make sure y'all go to subscribe to his channel, man. Chase Hughes, you feel me? Shout out to Chase Hughes for this knowledge, because like I said, not too many podcasters pop this type of information.
I'm going to guide you through this entire thing. Let me give you a simple story. If you could imagine a person standing at a fork in the road, same day, same life, same circumstances, but two different identities. In one timeline, they make the familiar choice. They make a choice that matches their history. In the other timeline, nothing external changes, but their internal prediction does. They stop assuming they're going to be ignored. They stop assuming that conflict means danger. They stop assuming that clarity is going to be punished, or honesty is going to be punished. And the moment that internal forecast changes, everything downstream automatically shifts.
And that's crazy, because y'all heard what he described, two different paths on this fork. You feel me? The same person, two different paths. You understand what I'm saying? And he explained the shift. One had an internal shift. One shifted the reality on the external to match the history, you know, and that's powerful. That's powerful, because at the end of the day, we're gonna learn the outcome of both of these shifts. He finna break it right down. He gonna break it down.
The email they would have avoided gets sent out. The proposal, the conversation they would have postponed somehow happens. The boundary that they used to just like swallow down gets spoken in one clean sentence without being a dick. And because of that, all of these new opportunities start appearing. And they're ones that didn't even exist in the other version of the day. They didn't even exist. And it diverges entirely because of the person funding them. And that person that was funding them internally was not the same.
You see what I'm saying? Y'all get that message? Y'all caught that? The person that was funding those behaviors was not the same internally. And that right now goes on with a lot of us. Like, you feel me? The person that's driving you, the inside, the internal, that's driving your exterior and your interior, gang, is not you. That ain't your, you feel me? That's not your regular output. That's not your regular output. The moment we reshape and reshift the mindset, that's when we reshape and reshift the reality that we live in. A lot of people I know right now today, they'll try to change the outside. You feel me? When people like this, for example, when people try to lose weight, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to automatically try to change what they eat. They're going to automatically try to go get on some type of weight loss plan or weight loss diet right away. They do that right away and then find themselves, you know, to end up with no great results, to end up with the results they did not want, to end up with results they did not expect to receive. Well, my question be, why nobody ever go to the mind first? See, because to change anything on the physical, you got to change the mindset first. It's just like a car. If something get the, you know, happening with your car get the fucking up. whatever, the engine going out, transmission. What you do, you take that motherfucker to a mechanic, right? A person who knows about the car. Just like your body. Some people say, well, you take your body to the doctor if something wrong. No, you take that body to God. God, the one who made that body. The doctor didn't. The doctor just studied that body. God made that body. You feel me? You go to your God. But now when it go to changing something in your physical reality of such, people usually go to the outside before they change the mindset. You can't change nothing on the outside until you change the inside. It's almost like working out and you want to get buff. Well, you can be on that damn weight bench all you want to, pumping and pumping and pumping. But if your mindset is telling you, man, this ain't working out for me, I ain't getting bigger, I look the same, you know what's going to take place? You are still going to look the same. Your mindset is making you and is repatternizing your brain, which is going to patternize your physicality, your body, to push out no results, to push out this not working results. You understand what I'm saying? All because of how you think. And that's what the hell he explained. Like, it makes sense because when you look in your neighborhood gang, everybody think just like that. Like, man, this ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna last. They be optimistic today, but tomorrow they back down. You understand?
And that's how fast identity works.
Yep.
That's how fast timelines can split wide open.
Wide open. You up today, down tomorrow. You understand? That's how fast timelines shift.
Into two different possibilities. But let's explore something together. You and me. If you just notice, without trying, the simple fact that your attention is already doing something different than it was a few minutes ago. The mind leans forward when it hears something unfamiliar. It leans back when it realizes how much space is inside of that moment. And you are not doing anything. Your system is starting to make these little adjustments in the way that instruments are telling you what are. And while all that is happening, you might notice small details that you weren't tracking. The weight of your hands, the air on your skin, the sense that the room softened a little bit around the edges during these past 4 or 5 minutes. This is the mind preparing to think in a different shape. And in quantum mechanics, a system changes state when conditions change universally. There's no...
Oh, that's different, gang. That's some different shit. They said that system change states when conditions change universally. That's the as above, so below. That's the as above, so below. You understand what I'm saying?
Effort required. It's just reorganization. And people aren't different. The concepts, the tone, the shift in where your attention sits, all of these are conditions. And inside you, states begin adjusting all on their own. It's nothing dramatic. It's nothing stressful. You don't even have to think about them. As you notice, they might be arranging themselves or rearranging themselves on their own. And when you hear something that doesn't fit your usual categories, the mind will stop trying to finish your sentences. It's going to loosen its grip. And when it gets loose, that little looseness becomes the doorway. That is the doorway where your thoughts can stretch. Time feels a lot less linear. Breathing shifts on its own. This is the same state that you enter just before a memory forms or a dream starts. And you can picture yourself as a field.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I had to pause it right there, right? Because I was watching Mayim Bialik. For those of y'all that don't know her, she's a neuroscientist. Also, she was a character that played in the Big Bang Theory or whatever. And you know, they had another neuroscientist on there that they was talking to, and what this lady was saying is, you know, they doing test studies right now on people where, you know, they got two control groups. One is a control group, one is an uncontrolled group. The uncontrolled group get told, you know, they ask what sickness you have, where you heard that, where's the pain at, right? The people are pointed out there, give them something. It was like the placebo effect. Give them a pill, tell them, look, in 30 days, the effect will be gone. If you got a broken bone, 30 days, the bone will heal, so on and so forth. Whatever it is you got. These people take whatever it is they got, And the whole time, whatever they was giving them was sugar. It was a sugar pill, I believe. But they was telling them it's going to heal whatever it is that aches on them. Gang, the whole time, these people after 30 days, majority of the group, it was 50 in the group. I think 35 in the group came back and said, look, I don't got no more pains. My bone healed. They did the x-rays, did the studies. The people was fully healed. When they told the people that, hey, yo, the pill we gave you wasn't nothing but a sugar pill. You feel me? It was sugar shaped in a pill form. We gave it to you. And you know what ultimately healed you was your mindset, the mind. And it blew me back. It goes back to what he's saying. Like when he said, hey, yo, the fastest it can shift is the fastest that you internally make a decision to choose what consciously to pay attention to. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're paying attention consciously to the most negativest things in your life, the most baddest situations in your life, then yes, that's what you're going to bring more of to you. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. If you're paying attention to more opportunities, if you feel like, hey, yo, I got abundance, everything flowing for me, everything is going great, even if you got the smallest of things, gang, and you feel like, look, the smallest is the largest, because even without this, I wouldn't have nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Then you know, mindset right there that you hold is a one mindset, and that's one you should keep because you can scale it. You understand what I'm saying?
Not a grassy field, and not just a biography of who you are or personality, but this glowing cloud of possible pinpointed versions of your future, or maybe lines toward your future, each with its own density, its own emotional state. But they all have one thing in common: the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Some are bright, some are faint, some are just razor sharp, some might be vague. And as you imagine that, you can notice how you naturally take the vantage point of the observer. You watch from just outside the field. And if you just let, all by itself, let that field stretch way forward into these thin little threads. And each one of those is just a possible future that you could take if a different version of you became the dominant one. And I'm not asking you to choose. I just want you to sense which one.
See, in the world we live in, everybody already chose, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. Look at the streets. Look at the young people out there killing each other, gang. Look how the black people killing each other, man. Look how so out of touch with each other we are. Look how lost we are. Look how family members don't even go to, you know, family events and get-togethers and Thanksgivings and Christmas functions. You understand what I'm saying? So I think, honestly, people chose. They already, and I don't think people know. They sat back and they observed that field without knowing, but the way they observed it was the way social media trained people to observe it. Get distant. Be more alone. Be away from people. Don't trust everybody. Watch out for everybody. You feel me? Now, back 30, 40 years ago, gang, everybody knew everybody in the neighborhood. Your grandma and them knew them down the street. Your grandma and them knew the neighbors them knew them. Your teachers them knew your people. All that. Like, gang, what happened? What happened? See, what he's speaking on, yes, we should do in a positive way, in a positive notion. I think that's what we need to get back to. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, when this AI fully take off and kick off, you hear me? Because AI finna take everybody's jobs, right? AI finna do that. Within the next 3 to 5 years, AI gonna do that. You know, so they got to create this universal base income. That's the talk right now, right? They finna create a universal base income because they know all humans finna be out of jobs. But what are we gonna do then? Because we've been so distant now. When AI do take jobs and put everybody, you know, in one pile, in one category, where we're forced to work together and talk and communicate and get along and learn about each other, like we had to with COVID came, right? How's that gonna work out? You understand what I'm saying? How's that gonna work out? And even when COVID was here, that was hard for people. They were scared to be alone with their people. After a couple of days, they like, man, fuck them. I want to kill them. Like, I'm talking about motherfuckers getting drove up the wall, side crazy. Like, dude, they couldn't do it. And that was a test for them to see. So, you know, what he's saying is to understand your mind. Yeah, you will get driven crazy. But what he's saying is to understand your mind is to understand yourself, and to understand yourself is to understand that we are all the same, gang. We are all, you know, just like one another. You understand what I'm I'm saying
One of those
you can have a shift at any moment.
your attention slightly. The way that maybe one of those outcomes is vibrating or humming at a frequency that you recognize, even if you can't explain why. And if the imagery that's in the mind drifts or fades, that's absolutely fine. That's how the nervous system stores information that it plans to use. So now you can sense the part of that field behind you. How big is that? All the possible yous that haven't been expressed yet. You could even let one of them step forward a little bit, just coming out like a little silhouette with a different internal physics model, more clarity, more composure, more belonging to yourself. You don't have to force a face on it. It could just be a silhouette. It could be the idea of a person. You just notice that person's little emotional feel, their emotional signature. And as you feel that, you might notice that your breath starts lining up with that other version. And it's not because you tried to do it, because systems tuned to each other naturally. These small little shifts happen all on their own. Jaw loosens, chest widens, thoughts get quiet. And if you can imagine stepping with that version, that imaginary person, that silhouette, into a space between timelines, kind of like an open field that has no paths chosen yet. You could imagine a full 360-degree horizon all the way around.
That's cold, but you know how hard that is? I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, not for myself quite, but it's hard for a lot of people out there, you know. And to teach people will be the thing, you know. To teach people to do this exactly is the thing. That's the method, you know. And I think that's how we'll bring people back around to where we all want them to be, to where everybody around the world is begging for people to be, gang. Because like I said, if you look at everything that's taking place out here in the world, from all the crimes, all the hurts, all the pains, all the dramas, all the backstab, so on and so forth, you will clearly see and understand that, look, everybody that stepped into a version of themselves that is not themselves, that has been created, that's been created, shaped, and shifted by others' opinions, others' contradictions, others' conditions, others' situations, others' traumas. You feel me? And it's happening rapidly. Like it's happening faster and faster, gang. Like for real.
It's dotted with thin, glowing lines all over the place, and each line is a different future. Some close, some might be far, some quiet, maybe some are vibrant. And in the center of this space is you. Not the predicted you, but the one that chooses predictions.
You see, I don't think the young people feel like this, though. That's another thing I'm saying. I don't think the people on the young niggas out there that's shooting shit up, popping perks and shooting shit up, I don't think they feel like I don't even think they got this type of mindset no more. I don't even think they got this notion within themselves, gang, because if you look at what's going on, like, damn, if he's saying what he's saying, I know it's truth in what he's saying, but where's the crowd that need to hear this? You remember, like in the Bible, they said Jesus was walking among them sick people. It wasn't the healed people that needed to hear the story. It was the ones who wasn't healed yet. People who feel like, man, fuck all that shit. But I do understand it's gonna take them some time. It's gonna take them a lot of time to change their mindset and get shit like this and understand this. You understand?
Those are two different yous. And if you look out at those lines in that field and let your awareness drift from one to the next, you could feel the change in emotional temperature as you hover over them or near them. Some feel super heavy, some might be natural or neutral, and maybe one or two feel like home in a way that makes absolutely no sense, but just feels undeniable. And you can allow that upgraded version of you to walk slightly ahead of you, just kind of guiding your attention toward the timeline that matches the strength that you just felt. Right. You can notice that as you get closer to that line, the entire field seems to reorganize. The threads start shifting. They start softening or brightening or fading or disappearing as that new state that you've chosen based on predictions starts to assert itself.
And that's what they, I think honestly, that's what it means to be reborn. every day. You feel me? Because a lot of people are like, what do it mean to be reborn? Well, gang, it depends on what context we speaking of. We talking about physically, we talking about spiritually, mentally, metaphorically. Is you talking about theoretically, philosophically? You feel me? On a mental level, you are reborn every day. Every day you change a decision or an influence, or you break a limit in belief, you are reborn mentally. Therefore, if you are reborn mentally, you gotta be physically reborn right after the mental rebirth. Like, you got it. I couldn't see it no other way. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't see it no other way. If your mind has been refortified, reshifted, reshaped, and reborn, rebirth, you got to be reborn and rebirth physically within the self. You understand that? Within your temple, that's within yourself, that can't be built by the hands of man, like God said. And the only temple on planet Earth that can't be built by the hands of man, that lies in man, is the temple, the brain. The brain, gang.
And if you could imagine just reaching a kind of boundary, like a membrane, like a stretched out, really thin membrane between the old field and this new trajectory, this new path, you can step through it, piercing the entire thing. Just feel the pressure change in your chest or your face. And that's what it feels like when a system chooses an identity decisively. And just take a minute to walk along this new timeline, like zoom forward into the future, that it's a little different. Maybe it's massively different. You can look to your left and right and see the versions of you of that day that come from this identity, conversations, behaviors, these subtle little interactions. You can notice how the identity speaks.
That's why I said it's hard for people to view these type of things on nowadays, gang. There's so many distractions in the world. The world is so noisy right now, gang. Like the block itself, your block you own is so noisy right now. So many distractions and things going on, taking place, wars, crimes, all types of shit. Good things too, but it's too much noise for somebody to even self-reflect and self-understand their emotions or their feelings or how they feel or even their mind. Some people ain't even got time to sit down and hear their own thoughts. You know, some people are they all full of worried thoughts. You feel me? I call them survival thoughts. I feel like they should be called fight or flight thoughts, because right away from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep is, I got to do this, I got to pay the bill, I got to get there, I got to do this, I got to make sure this don't happen, I got to stay this way, I got to look that way, I got to too many for me, if you ask me. You feel me? No.
How it stands. And this is just a briefing. What this is, what you're experiencing right now, is just a briefing from your future self. And it's giving it to you in sensation and not words, which is the way that we need to receive these things.
Right.
So reach the version of you a few days into this timeline, just a couple days into this timeline. That's what I want you to reach into right now. You can look at how they move differently, how they wake up, the choices they make. You can let all of that information just flow into you the way that warmth starts spreading when you just stand out in the sunlight. This is the transfer. So now, before you return, you can walk backwards now through this future, watching how the choices start rearranging themselves as you move through all of them. You could observe how these really tiny changes early on shape these massive outcomes in the future. Everything downstream changes. And you can let one tiny action from this timeline present itself. Nothing.
Hey, now that right there is truly decoding your own future right there. What he's saying in the way he's describing it and how he's breaking it down, exactly what to do, that's fully decoding step by step the future. It's almost like when you listen to the people who had near-death experiences. You feel me? They got a podcast about that, people who had near-death experiences, and they go through these stories about, you know, what happened, what they seen, and where they was at. You know, I'm gonna give y'all an example. One lady, she said when she had this near-death experience, she, you know, seen herself in an outer body sense, you feel me, like in her spiritual aura, and she was with two other beings, which she couldn't see the faces of them, but they took her into this like an arcade room, and she said each arcade screen was a different section of her life. You understand what I'm saying? It was kind of scary. Yeah, it was a scary situation she was explaining, but she said in each arcade she saw scenes that played out the while she was dead, what would have happened. And it was scenes that was going into the future, 5 years down, 10 years down, 7 years down, 13 years down. And she was like, it was plenty of them. And the two beings that was there, the entities we should call them, they handed her some coins, and they read, play again on the coins, and they told her, put it in one of the machines if you want to go back. If you want to go back to that life, put it in one of the machines. If you don't put it in there and just sit. You feel me? But she said, while they was giving her this choice, there was a clock ticking. She said, like a fucking clock sitting. You feel me? A hologramic clock sitting there waiting on her time. Like, and she said, I think she got like damn near 5 seconds, and she put the coin back in the life game. And she woke up, and the doctors was over. They was operating on her and all sorts of things. Like, but she a neuroscientist also. She went to school. She said when she woke up out of that little experience she had, she went to school for it. She started studying near-death experiences, and they got over 1,000 cases of people explaining shit like this, that they see different paths of they selves. How most people, I seen the light, I could have went to the light. No, certain people, when they pay attention, if you go into this situation and you ain't scared, yes, you will be able to vividly see and vividly control and understand. You feel me? If your mind is conscious enough to handle it, you'll be able to pick, oh yeah, I want to go back. Oh no. But the lady explained, like, she said she seen her husband doing the kids real bad on one of the games. You understand? She said she walked up to it and she seen that the husband was treating them so bad, but by this time they was damn near grown and out of high school or whatever. But it blew. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like she was a remote viewing motherfucker. Like the army got the remote viewing people, but it was like that. Like she foreseen into the future. So it's another force on the other side, gang. Like the Bible said, we need to start paying more attention to things that's unseen versus the things that's seen. You understand?
Dramatic or heroic, that's something pretty mundane that still belongs only to this version, and just kind of let a small choice float into awareness, whatever it is. Now, if you step back through this membrane into the center of the field again, and just carry that sensation of that future you and the future itself with you, I want you to look around that circle again and watch how instantly the old timelines start fading off, turning into smoke or vapor. They fade as the new one starts to become more and more stable. The field reorganizes itself as all fields do. And in a moment, we'll kind of come back for anybody that has your eyes closed. But I don't want you to return as the same prediction.
Right.
Don't come back as the same prediction. The trajectory has already changed. The field's already reorganized. The system's selected a new state here. The only thing that's left to notice is how this version of you starts to steer the next few hours and few days without needing any effort. And whenever it feels right, you can allow your eyes to open and let that version come back.
And that's one cold truth, gang. I can't lie to you, man. One cold truth, because that reminds me like of times when you let go of your old self and you become your new self. You understand what I'm saying? When you start doing things a different way and let go of the old ways, which a lot of us tend to do. Whether it's stop getting paid the same amount at one job and move to a different one. You stop shopping at one store and you go to another one. You feel me? Because this one better and they got better prices, but you got smarter. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you gotta take the sugar with the salt. And I think a lot of us don't do that because we beat ourselves up a lot, gang. We don't credit ourselves for the little bit of common conscious sense that we do have. But instead we choose to beat ourselves up about all the knowledge we don't have. At the end of the day, when you recognize, man, the universe is full of knowledge, so much knowledge that there's not enough knowledge that you can know and say, hey, yo, I know it all. No, because when you thought you knew it all, you don't know shit. You became a dummy at that moment of time. I know it all. But just to be able to know yourself, I think is knowing it all. To understand how to sit back and observe, all the use there is. I think that is knowing it all, because once you start doing that, you will start recognizing that we are all part of the all. If you know what that is, you understand what I'm saying. When you do your studies, then you definitely know. But for the people that don't know, man, y'all pay attention, man. Start studying yourself. Start studying and researching yourself and what you feel and what you're passionate at, what you love doing. And share that. Share that with people. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure every interaction you have with people, all the energy that you share and receive, is for the benefits of positiveness and the benefits of inheriting each other with more knowledge, you feel me, and more wisdom and understanding. At the end of the day, man, I love y'all. Y'all make sure y'all keep y'all heads up, keep your minds sharp, and remember, your mind is your nine, so use it, man.
Man, you bitch niggas better ante your butt elevate. I need 6-figure money, won't hella bucks and hella cake. Fuck boy, I been on dummy, shooting hella ops, make them a day. If not him, then kill his mama, make him feel his wrath in the hell away. Hydro shock with his eye, make through his chest, watch as they swim away. I don't stop shooting till you die, and your last breath, and then I skid away. This a hollow tip.